of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the NABF Welterweight Championship and the Battle of Brooklyn. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Barclays Center in Brooklyn, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with white trim, proudly representing his home of Bensonhurst in Brooklyn, New York. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds. His record stands at 32 wins, 5 losses, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former IBF Junior Welterweight World Champion and the former WBA Welterweight Champion of the world, introducing Paulie, the Magic Man Malignaggi. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, this 12-round attraction, wearing red trunks with gold trim. He proudly represents his home of Brownsville in Brooklyn, New York. He weighed in at already 146 pounds with a record of 42 wins, 8 losses, 2 no contests. He has 29 wins coming by way of knockout. A veteran of 20 world title appearances. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 5-time world champion in 2 weight divisions, introducing Zab Super Judah. Once again, our referee in charge now to give instructions, Mike Ortega.
I want to wait till everybody gets out. Is that right here? Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Tonight's Showtime Boxing telecast is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome in the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We are so proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Bless you, and thank you for all that you do.
Well, let me see your gloves real quick. All right, stay right there.
The bell and round 1, the Battle of Brooklyn has begun. Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi in the black with white, Zab Super Judah in the red with gold.
Much talk leading into this fight that Zab Judah would try to start very quick in this fight. Paulie thought it, Zab suggested it, and so did everyone else. We'll see.
Mauro Ranallo, Al Bernstein, Amir Khan, Brian Kenny, Jim Gray, and the rest of our crew bringing you the action of this main event on our second to last broadcast of what has been an amazing year of boxing here on Showtime. Zab Judah flashing the jab early.
Paulie Malignaggi just landed a nice right hand a few moments ago. He found a good home for that punch after he threw like 6 jabs in a row.
Both of them coming off competitive losses here at Barclays. Malignaggi losing his welterweight title to Adrian Broner, who will make the first defense of that belt against Marcos Maidana next Saturday at the Alamodome in San Antonio. Here on Showtime, while Zab Judah fell to Danny Garcia in a pitched battle earlier this year. And that fight was at 140. Judah moving up back to 147 for this fight.
Yeah, they both look in great shape, you know, Judah made the weight at 146 and Malignaggi made it right on the weight, which was 147.
Paulie doing work to the body. He did a lot of great body work against Adrian Broner. Didn't get really credit with the judges, and I'm not even sure people like me gave him enough credit for that. But the fact is, he did really good body work. And it's important that you count those punches, whether you think he's the biggest power puncher in the world or not. They score and they count.
Paulie has defeated every southpaw he's faced, both in the pros and in the amateurs. There's Judah tagging him with the jab.
Zab has had a more cautious start than he suggested he might, but it's a close round. There again, there's that body work by Malignaggi. He's been committed to that. The first fight, by the way, for Zab, that his father Yoel is back in the corner with him for a while.
Good exchange in the center of the ring. Malignaggi feinting, head movement.
This will be very much like I think we'll see. More punches thrown by Malignaggi. He's thrown 13 more in this round, and I think he's going to be the busier fighter.
People talk about the fact that Malignaggi may not have the most power based on his 7 wins by knockout, but he's had 4 surgeries to his right hand throughout his career. Just landed a nice right hand. As we close out the end of the first round. What's it going to take for each of these two warriors to have their hands raised tonight, Al?
Well, for Zab Judah, you know, I think the jab is important for him to use because Paulie Malignaggi is the best jabber in boxing statistically, so you have to take that away from him. And the straight left has got to be there. He didn't try that much in the first round. Don't get out hustled, which we saw evidence of in the first round for Paulie Malignaggi doing that to him. Now, for Malignaggi, the jab is important, and he threw a lot of jabs in that first round. And combination punching is important. We didn't see as much of that in the first round, but he did avoid the straight left hand. And the other thing we might add to that is the body work of Malignaggi, which he did do in the first round.
Round 2, and they have 2 common opponents. Amir Khan, who joins us here at ringside, and Miguel Cotto. Both of them losing to both of those terrific fighters.
And in fact, both of these men in their fights with Miguel Cotto had epic battles with him. Both gave respect.
And there is a left hand, and Malignaggi, glove touched the canvas, pleading his case.
6, 7, 8. I watched it, man. It was a clean punch. He got you.
So it's ruled a knockdown.
Malignaggi's not happy with that knockdown. He kept telling the referee that he slipped, which it looked like a little bit of a slip, but at the same time he was hit. So, yeah.
So that's the 3rd time he's been knocked down in his career. He's been stopped twice, but both were on his feet against Cotto and Amir Khan. But now Paulie Malignaggi already down here in round 2.
Of course, that was a straight left hand. Whether it scored the knockdown remains to be seen. It's hard to tell, but it was called a knockdown. So that left hand at least got there for Zab Judah.
And now the crowd becomes emotionally invested in the action here in round 2.
I think even Judah knows that Malignaggi was not hurt in that exchange because he's not coming in, you know, recklessly. A 10-8 round in a fight like this, even early, is obviously a setback, and that will probably be a 10-8 round, even though Malignaggi is still doing good work in this round.
You know, at the fighters meeting also, you know, Judah did mention that he's going to come forward for the first couple of rounds and he's going to put pressure on. Because he thinks that in the previous fights against the likes of Danny Garcia and other fighters, he's never really, you know, had a high work rate and he's let the fight get away.
Yeah, it really, Paulie is dictating, except for that one knockdown, he's dictating the tempo and pace of this fight.
Malignaggi scores with the right hand. Final minute of the 2nd round. Judah's been down 10 times in his career and stopped 3 times, but he's the one who, according to the referee, has ruled a knockdown here in round 2 and pops Malignaggi's head back as Malignaggi counters with a jab of his own in the final 30 seconds of the second round. Malignaggi getting busy with a three-punch combination, but a lot of those blocked.
A very close round other than the knockdown, but clearly that knockdown is important for Zab Judah.
But Malignaggi's got right back at the game again. Back sticking to the jab.
Yep, using that piston-like jab proficiently.
Which I think in the later rounds will give him a lot of success and, you know, do him a world of good.
What Paulie can't do is allow that knockdown to...
He tripped over his foot. No problem.
Eric Brown in the corner.
You good? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, all right. Listen, that was okay. Now, listen, don't worry about that. You stay on your game. Now, it's a good turn it around. You still took that round. You hear me? All right, that's the way you...
Great advice from Eric Brown there. And this is where the knockdown would happen. Now, their legs are tangled. There's no question about that. The right leg is underneath. Well, you know, there was a punch landed, but boy, that's a tricky one. You know, I understand why the referee called it, but you can understand it not being a call to knockdown. There, the leg was in the way. Now, had the leg not been there, I don't think Paulie's would have had to touch with the glove. When you touch with the glove, presumably, if it was caused by a punch, it's a knockdown, but that one's right in the gray area.
I mean, I know exactly how Paulie's going to be feeling because, you know, I was dropped in my last fight with a very similar knockdown. I wasn't hurt, it was just with the footwork against Diaz. My footwork was just in the wrong position. So, you know, you've seen there, as soon as that knockdown happened, Paulie started putting the pressure on a little bit more, started pushing Judah back.
Now, you don't have to score that a 10-8 round. You're not obligated to, but traditionally, if someone gets knocked out, clash of heads. Darn it.
Stay there. Time. Yeah, you got a little cut right under your eye, but you're okay. It's okay. Very small. Zach, let's take a look. What do you got you? All right, you got it. Little gash over your left eye, but you look okay. All right, let me know when you're ready.
Orthodox versus southpaw.
I mean, that's the case whenever they fight. I mean, you look in the last fight again when Alexander fought, there was many headbutts in there. It's just a style, you know, the footwork. You always get into headbutts whenever you fight a southpaw and orthodox guys in there.
Right hand connects by Malignaggi. Judah looking to establish the jab. Malignaggi goes back to the body.
Paulie Malignaggi in his later years has become a dedicated body puncher. He hurt Senchenko to the body when he fought him. And against Adrian Broner, as I mentioned, threw a lot of great body punches. And tonight, he has really made a commitment to that.
Sticks the jab through the guard.
Now that little check left hook from Malignaggi is one that he wants to try and land. He missed it there, but look, there he lands it when Judah comes in. This is a round in which Malignaggi is controlling the tempo of this fight dramatically, in my opinion, and is just really outboxing Judah at this moment in this round.
Halfway through round 3.
Malignaggi looks a quicker fighter. He's throwing the quicker shots. You know, both guys being fast. But I think Malignaggi just maybe is a little step ahead.
3 years younger than the 36-year-old Judah.
Yeah, and the problem for Jab Judah is he is very economical with his punches. And if you don't throw enough, you can get out-hustled, as I pointed out in the keys.
Malignaggi doing a good job of avoiding Judah's jab. Plenty of footwork, feinting.
By the way, great work by Eric Brown, reminding Paulie, don't get out of your game plan. Don't let that knockdown, however inappropriate we may think it is,
There's a straight left hand by Judah, and of course Malignaggi, being an Italian, I can understand, can get a little emotional at times.
Well, Paulie Malignaggi has a great chin and has demonstrated it in a number of fights, and there was a good straight left hand by Zab that landed very well but didn't hurt it.
Malignaggi again back to the body as they clinch. Under 30 seconds left in the third round. Straight right hand by Malignaggi.
A lot of blood coming from that cut on Paulie Malignaggi's eye, a little more than Judah's cut.
Judah trying to keep his lead foot to the outside of Malignaggi's. Final 5 seconds of the round. We're through 3 here in the Battle of Brooklyn.
All right, Paulie. Good. You're doing good, all right? Don't worry about this, all right? Danny's got you. Now, listen. You keep that composure. You keep selling it like you're doing it. I know. All right, listen.
Behind me, I like something around, okay?
Hey, listen.
Couldn't see it around.
Okay, all right. Listen. All right, relax. Now, listen. That's nothing. It's on.
This is where the clash of heads came. And it affected really both men, although I think in the short term it looked like it impacted Judah even more, but then Paulie reacting to it and distressed, obviously, and realizing that he was cut as well as Zab Judah. Great disappointment, and hopefully it won't impact this fight.
Well, tough night at the office so far for Paulie Malignaggi. 19 seconds into the second round, legs wobbled. He touched the canvas, ruled a knockdown, and then 35 seconds into round 3, the two clashed heads. And a lot of blood spurting out of the left eye of Paulie Malignaggi as we begin round 4.
And in between all those events, he's boxed very, very well, but those two were not so good for him.
Yeah, Malignaggi's boxing a good fight. You know, if you just watch, he's moving away from Judah's left by moving the opposite way, you know. So I think he's boxing a smart fight. He wants to stay away from his big punch, which is the backhand.
Again, Malignaggi works the body as Judah looks to launch that left hand.
And the interesting thing about this fight is it's Malignaggi who's the aggressor. How intriguing. And we saw that in the Broner fight. You know, it's one of those things that a little nuance that you can miss because you have stereotypes in your mind. But he's being the aggressor in this fight.
There's always talk, especially recently, that Zab Judah starts well, first 4 rounds, and that was a slip. But that he fades down the stretch. That wasn't the case against Danny Garcia.
No, he fought extremely well. And those final rounds against Garcia really, I think, saved his career in a way. Because had those been failures, those rounds, we wouldn't be seeing this fight. And the fact that Paulie Malignaggi in the final rounds against Adrian Broner pulled out several rounds, and that was part of the reason why it was a split decision, that saved him.
Double jab by Judah. Malignaggi coming forward again, putting together combination.
I find it fascinating that it's Judah doing the boxing for the most part, and Malignaggi being the aggressor when Judah, you know, allegedly is the puncher in this fight.
Definitely.
Or could be.
Yeah, and you'll think, you know, Malignaggi not the big puncher in this fight, whereas Judah is, and Judah will be the one coming forward, putting the pressure on Malignaggi, pushing him back and trying to hurt him.
And the thing is, Malignaggi's still throwing more punches, though in this round they've been much closer in terms of the number of punches thrown.
But you know, Malignaggi's picking some nice shots. I mean, he just threw a nice little uppercut there. I mean, he's just picking and boxing really well. At the moment, you know, he's beating Judah to the punch, has a higher work rate.
Zab will land some good counter punches from time to time, but not quite as many as I think he wants.
We're through 4 rounds here in the Battle of Brooklyn. And speaking of this borough, let's go to Brooklyn's own Steve Farhood for this Brooklyn report.
Well, Mo, the Brooklyn Bridge was built in 1883, and as you can see, it's as magnificent as ever. It's the iconic symbol of the borough of Brooklyn. But what makes Brooklyn Brooklyn is its people and their attitude. And sometimes it seems like everybody was born in Brooklyn. The list of celebs is an eclectic one and includes names you might not associate with the borough. In boxing alone, I can give you 5 heavyweight titleists from Brooklyn. Mike Tyson, Floyd Patterson, Shannon Briggs, Michael Moore, and that man, Big Daddy, Riddick Bowe. And 2 more champs from Brooklyn, obviously Paulie from the Bensoner section and Zab from Brownsville. Those 2 neighborhoods only 7.5 miles apart. Paulie and Zab tonight, they're fighting for local pride. And if you're from Brooklyn, that counts for a lot. And Mo, if you can't understand that, well, then I got one word for you. Forget about it.
Forget about it. BK stand-up. Thank you very much, Mr. Boxopedia. As we resume this Battle of Brooklyn.
I'm from Chicago. I had no idea Al Capone was from there. We're happy to give him back to Brooklyn. Jeez, we've been taking a rap for Al Capone forever.
Beginning of round 5, and again, Malignaggi looking to establish the jab. There's Judah using it as a range fighter. There, double, triple jab, and then a right hand to the body by Malignaggi. Now Malignaggi stabs the midsection with the jab. There's a nice double jab followed by the straight left hand by Judah.
Paulie Malignaggi lands more jabs per round than anybody in boxing, and he does have the edge in jabs landed, but it's not dramatic so far in this fight, but it's enough to control the fight, and he has certainly thrown more. And he is the aggressor in this fight. He's throwing more punches.
Couple of right hands, and Judah along the ropes. Malignaggi throwing that right uppercut. Then again, going to the body, Amir really mixing up his attack well.
No, he's mixing it up really good. I mean, throwing some nice, clean body shots, trying to make the older Judah kind of slow down and trying to, because Judah is known for one that doesn't take body shots well. So
Judah landed a nice body shot of his own moments ago.
Malignaggi trained in New York, not at the Wild Card Gym where Eric Brown normally is out west. He felt more comfortable, and they thought they had a tremendous training camp. A little shorter than the norm for him, but he said we got a lot done, and so far there's indications of that. And in this round, Malignaggi has thrown 15 more punches than Judah, and according to show stats, landed 8 more, so he's just busier.
I've got to say, Judah's jab, Malignaggi's jabs come on so well in the past few fights. I mean, it's what's winning him the fight at the moment.
Under a minute left in the 5th round, and Malignaggi working behind the jab, although he gets tagged with a Judah jab.
And Malignaggi feinting a lot, and that has had an impact, I think, Amir, on how Judah has reacted to him. A lot of good feints in there.
Judah's an awkward southpaw. To make a southpaw, move and react, you have to feint. So he's playing a smart game, is Malignaggi, making him commit and then catching him.
Sticks another sweet jab, does Malignaggi.
Zab Judah is just not initiating enough, and he's going to have to do that in these rounds to come.
15 seconds left in the 5th. So despite being knocked down in round 2, or what was ruled a knockdown, a great start for Paulie Malignaggi.
You got the mouthpiece? Yes. Okay, good. All right, I got you, son. Good job, Paulie. Beautiful job, okay? Now you keep that focus, son, and be determined. Don't take no shorts. This kid ain't got nothing for you. I got you. Okay. He ain't got nothing.
This is Paulie Malignaggi being aggressive. Again, going to the body, that one landed to the chest. Feinting, we talked about that, and that's making a big difference. The irony is Judah pointed out that the punching power is not an issue to him, and yet those feints are having an effect on him. And Paulie, the aggressor, landing that short right hand, not everything getting in here, but he's the one that's doing the landing. Fine middleweight prospect Danny Jacobs, who of course has fought in this building, conquered illness himself, is now back in the sport, and a middleweight contender. We may see him sometime soon, perhaps against Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen.
Round 6 underway, and immediately Judah lands a jab. Malignaggi continuing to feint, trying to befuddle the man who was 3 years his elder.
Both men have fought a lot of rounds. 307 rounds for Zab Judah, 300 for Paulie Malignaggi, so they are the very epitome of the word veteran.
There's a straight right hand through the guard by Malignaggi, and another lead right hand, and follows that up with a jab, and Malignaggi now beginning to target all areas of Zab Judah's anatomy. And there's a nice 1-2 combination by the Magic Man.
Having seen, you know, Malignaggi's last few performances, I think, you know, he boxes really well, aggressive when he's aggressive. I mean, he's putting a great performance on here. You know, he's the one to punch first and to counter first.
There's a nice 1-2 combination. Lands flush. Malignaggi very aggressive in the last round.
When Zab Judah allows Malignaggi to dictate the pace like this, there's not much that's going to prevent him from losing this round. Even if he lands 1 or 2 big shots, it's going to be difficult for him to win these rounds.
Under a minute and a half remaining in the 6th.
And Malignaggi's jab is as good as ever tonight.
You know, it's an amazing jab he's throwing, like a piston, you know, catching him every time. I mean, it might not be the hardest jab, but he's still making, you know, he's still getting points for Malignaggi.
And that combined with the feinting and the faking of the jab down to the body is really opening up that punch.
Yeah, the body shots, I think, you know, are not, I mean, Judah's doing a good job blocking the body shots. I mean, Malignaggi's tried to throw some good body shots, but Judah's doing a good job, you know, defending them.
Judah unable to get rolling here thanks to the persistent jab of Paulie Malignaggi. There he double pumps it and throws a 3-punch combination. Again a jab, and Judah comes back, but Malignaggi's defense helping him there. Another jab lands. Malignaggi continues to paint Judah's face with that jab. 15 seconds left in the first half of this scheduled 12-round affair, billed as the Battle of Brooklyn.
The jab of Malignaggi has been effective, and we're now starting to see him not only throw the jab, which you see there, but come with the right hand behind it. We saw a few right hands early, but not so much. Now there's the jab, which works as a perfect rangefinder, and there's the right hand for Malignaggi. So that's something he's done many, many times in his career, and it's working tonight.
You're making your presence known, and keep working behind your face, okay? Keep making your presence known and keep working behind them face, baby. All right? All right.
You know, Malignaggi's getting 50% success rate with that jab, so it just shows, you know, how big that jab, how good that jab is for him.
You gotta go get him. Push him back. Let's go.
Second half of this scheduled 12-rounder begins with round 7, and Judah an aggressive start, landing a combination there. This is just his 3rd fight in his hometown. The first didn't come until his 51st fight, which took place in 2012 at the Aviator Sports Complex against Vernon Paris, and now he lands a left hand, and now Judah on the attack as Malignaggi forced to clinch.
Don't be grabbing him, grabbing him low. Okay, I got it. I know, I got it. Just let him go. Hey, Zab, I want to see that, okay? Just let him go and back off. All right? Let's go.
Best start of a round for Zab Judah so far.
Judah's recorded 6 knockout wins in the second half of 12-round affairs. Malignaggi has just 1 knockout past the 6th round. That comes in the 9th, and here are the unofficial scores thus far through 6 rounds.
At this point, we have all have Paulie Malignaggi winning this fight, but Steve, you have it much closer than Amir and I do.
Yeah, just 1 round difference. It was the 4th. I thought it was a very, very close round. But in general, Paulie's clearly controlling the fight. And the word I would use to describe Zab at this point, he seems a little bit uninterested.
Yes.
Paulie's still one of the quickest fighters in the world. And that quickness and that willingness to stand in the pocket and attack is giving him these rounds where Zab seems to be reacting instead of acting.
And that second round, I actually made it a 10-8, or the fourth round, I'm sorry. How did Hal have it?
Yeah, I had the same. I had the second round 10-8. Didn't think it was a clean knockdown, but look, the referee took it as a knockdown, so we have to go with that. And that was a good right hand from Malignaggi.
Yeah, I was tempted to make it a 10-9, but I felt that you got to be rewarded for a knockdown, even if it's, you may think it's questionable.
Now Judah backpedaling. Malignaggi again leads with the jab. Right hand to the body. Another jab lands upstairs. Under a minute left in the 7th round. Judah beginning to have a problem with his right eye. As he's blinking, you can see him now rubbing his face. I think the jabs are beginning to take their toll.
And and you know what? After a great first beginning in this round, now Judah is passive again, as Steve said, almost disinterested. And Malignaggi taking advantage of that.
There's a straight left hand that lands by Judah.
It seems that, Malignaggi disheartened Judah with, them clean shots.
And the speed.
Quick shots. And the speed, definitely the speed. But don't take me wrong, Judah is also quick himself, but it's just the timing and the accuracy that, Malignaggi has.
Yeah, to build on what Mr. Farhad said, he does appear at times to be lethargic in this fight with the second half underway. 10 seconds remaining, comes forward with a straight left. Movement by Malignaggi. We're going to round 8 here at Barclays in the Battle of Brooklyn. And plenty of luminaries on hand. Former Showtime Championship boxing analyst, also known as the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver, back at 45, now campaigning at heavyweight and coming off a win.
Good to see him get a win. Good to see him around here, our good friend. This is where there would be a warning to both men from the referee Ortega as things got a little bit chippy in there. Paulie was retreating and trying to hold on, and that's where things got a little rough, and I think there were some low blows exchanged. Paulie threw one that might have been a little low, and there was some holding, and Ortega gave them both a talking to.
And Judah got some good shots in there as well.
Yes, he did.
But he needs to do, if he wants to put more pressure on, I think he needs to, if he wants to start winning rounds, he has to put that kind of pressure on.
So in a promotion that was devoid of trash talking, that is usually the case with Malignaggi and Judah, the most they could come up with was Judah saying Malignaggi's a great commentator and he wants to send him back to us here at ringside permanently.
He said, I'm a job creator. I want to make sure he gets that commentating job only, and I'll keep boxing. But right now, Paulie Malignaggi's doing a pretty good job as a boxer.
Let him out, let him out. Step back, step back, step back.
And the average punches through the 7th round, Malignaggi is throwing 51 and landing 18 according to show stats. Judah's throwing 41 and landing 10. So, and there's as you look, that's how that extrapolates into the total numbers overall.
Let him out, let him out, let him out.
Well, we mentioned that Malignaggi didn't start boxing until the age of 16. Judah started at the age of 6, went 110-5 as an amateur, and was an alternate on the '96 USA Olympic boxing team. Multiple division champion, just like Malignaggi. But it's not about titles tonight. It's about local bragging rights. It's about pride. And thus far, Paulie Malignaggi, behind his very effective jab, doing a great job here, working the body as well, as we just saw there, Amir.
Yeah, good body shots. And I think, that's why, I think that's what's slowing Judah down a little bit. I mean, Judah, you saw in the first round, throwing a little bit more punches, but as the rounds are getting on now, his work rate's dropped a lot, and I think the body shots are playing its toll.
Yeah, I mean, they're landing. We just saw a combination of body shots a moment or two ago. Now, Judah has had slow starts before in fights. We mentioned it against Danny Garcia. He did come back well in the later rounds, but he's giving away so many rounds here, in my opinion. Now, that may not be the way the judges
I agree with you. I agree with you. If he wants to be in this fight, he needs to start winning some rounds, throwing more shots, because he's just letting Paulie take control now and just walk right through him. And
it's not just the jab in this round. We've seen Malignaggi score with some effective combinations, both upstairs and to the body. There was a good counter left from Judah. Blood trickling down the side of Malignaggi's face, the left eye, courtesy of the accidental clash of heads in round 3.
And this round's a perfect example. Malignaggi's thrown 49 punches to only 26 by Judah, and he's landed twice as much as well, according to show stats. So the fact is, he's just being busier. And slipping, as we saw there. We said in the keys to victory, he's got to avoid that straight left hand by Judah.
Yeah, and he's been moving, you know, the opposite side away from Judah's left hand. But yeah, even, you know, Malignaggi's movement's been great. I mean, he's been bobbing and weaving and moving that head well.
Judah coming forward here in the latter stages of the 8th as they exchange words. There's a jab from Malignaggi. They touch gloves, and both of these have a storied history, and they've known each other for a long time, dating back to the Gold Glove competitions in New York. Judah, a 2-time champion, as was Paulie the Magic Man Malignaggi. Looks a lot like the Karate Kid there, doesn't he?
There's a Ralph Macchio kind of resemblance there for Paulie and Zab. Judah, a good-looking youngster, and yeah, as you mentioned, Zab even coached him at one point, and they have had a great history here in Brooklyn, and so many fans for both these fighters.
Your hands go more. You just back up in a straight line. Okay, that's the only time he's got a chance to hit you. Okay, baby? All right. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. All right, let's go to work. Good focus, son. Beautiful.
The 9th round about to begin. Zab Judah, after 8 rounds, has a record of 12-6 with 4 wins via stoppage, while Paulie Malignaggi, after 8 rounds, is 12-5-1. So similar records after 8 rounds, but Amir, the adjustments that Zab Judah has to make here down the stretch.
No, yeah, you know, Zab has to now start putting some pressure on, throwing some more shots. He needs to, you know, increase his work rate, getting more punches out there, because he's letting Paulie take control. And you know, as you heard Eric Brown in the corner, he said you're doing a good job. Stick to the game plan. I mean, he's doing a great job. And you know, I have to say, since Eric Brown's been coaching Malignaggi, you know, you see a big change in Malignaggi's style. I think, you know, with that jab, the movement, the amount of punches he throws, you see a big change.
Unofficial scoring through 8 rounds.
Here's how we very unofficially have it, but the margin for, even on Steve Farhood's scores card, is growing for Malignaggi, and both Amir and I have it by a larger margin. So, Steve, you're starting to believe in the Magic Man, huh?
Speed he used to have. I don't see the speed that separated Zab from so many fighters early on. Paulie's the much faster fighter and the much hungrier fighter.
Malignaggi has mentioned that he would love another crack at Adrian Broner's openly talked about wanting to face, should he be successful tonight, the winner of next week's main event. As Adrian Broner defends the welterweight title he took away from the Magic Man against hard-hitting Marcos Maidana. That's 1 week from tonight. Another 4-fight night to wrap up the year. We'll be in San Antonio. Stiff jab by Malignaggi. Another jab connects.
Back when we gave you the keys to victory, establishing the jab was an important one, and Malignaggi has certainly done that. Even though Judah has landed some, Malignaggi, who always lands at a better percentage of jabs than anybody, has done it.
Final minute of the 9th.
Nice combination from Malignaggi. I mean, you know, he's just dictating now, throwing when he wants to throw. You see how relaxed Malignaggi looks in the ring there, and Judah's the one looking tensed. Whereas, you know, we thought it's going to be an opposite fight. We thought it's going to be a different fight where Judah's going to be the pressure fighter, pushing Malignaggi back. But here, it's Malignaggi who's pushing Judah back.
Yeah, Judah told us in the fighter meetings that he was going to be on the attack from the get-go, and that has not been the case despite the ruled knockdown in round 2. Paulie Malignaggi behind the jab has been schooling Judah in that department.
And remember, the key point about all this was that trying to hurt Paulie Malignaggi or knock him down is not that easy a prospect. He has a terrific chin, and in the Broner fight, he said, I was never hurt, and he didn't look like he was ever hurt.
There's a straight left hand to the sternum by Judah. Headed to round 10.
Relax the fuck all of you. Put it over the fucking top.
Keep doing like you're doing. All right? You own this guy. All right? Remember, just keep staying in your window. Keep boxing. All right? All right? We got. Oh, shit. Put your legs out. Put your legs out. Rub it out. Get close to him, Zach. We're worried. You got to get close. Boy, you're not going to be standing. Get inside. Come on. I'm telling you.
Round 10 here at Barclays. Paulie Malignaggi had a bad hair day against Lovemore Endo, and he had some wardrobe malfunctions here with his trunks. They've had to readjust them in between rounds. And for Zab Judah, definite sense of urgency in the corner.
Yeah, definitely in the corner. Yeah, I mean, you know, it seemed uncomfortable. I mean, Judah felt, you know, he seemed uncomfortable being in that corner. I don't know if it was because, I mean, he was getting tight legs. He had someone had to come in and start shaking his legs out and stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's with age or what, but yeah, he doesn't seem like himself.
Your punches in front, punches in front.
Some concern about cramping in the corner of Judah. They worked on his calves.
There's a straight left hand that lands by Judah. Paulie Malignaggi goes downstairs with a right just above the belt line. Very consistent round in and round out for Paulie Malignaggi, using the footwork, the feinting, and that jab. Don't forget, we invite you to be a part of our hashtag battle tonight on Twitter. We simply want to know, out of the 4 welterweights in action tonight, we saw Shawn Porter become the new welterweight champion against Devin Alexander. And, of course, these two Brooklynites going at it. Who was tonight's most impressive welterweight? You can make your pick. Voting on Twitter, hashtag Judah, hashtag Malignaggi, hashtag Alexander, or hashtag Porter. We'll have the results after the 2 welterweight bouts. And thus far, you'd have to say that Shawn Porter definitely has the advantage coming off the championship victory.
Big upset win by him, but in this fight, Paulie Malignaggi is making his statement with his boxing skills and continues every single round to just control things.
You know, the crowd you hear in the crowd, there's a lot of booing going on as well. I think they're not happy with Judah's performance. They think, you know, you can hear a lot of that booing there. But, you know, you don't know when, I mean, if I was Judah, you know, you have to start picking the pace up now. I think it's time where you have to start throwing more punches. And like he did in the Garcia fight, you know, he comes strong towards the end. I think it's time now where he needs to start, you know, throwing some big bombs.
And, you know, he's thrown the left hand so sparingly.
Malignaggi now engaging some histrionics, hearing the boos and maybe trying to get Judah to engage, getting him to initiate, but it's Malignaggi with the series of right hands. 15 seconds left in the 10th round. Now Judah getting a little busier, but is more inclined to clinch. Malignaggi doing his own commentary. You're turning your head to the side. He's pretty good at that commentary.
He's pretty good at it, yeah. Well, Paulie is a showman, and, you know, I think he's just trying to stir things. He's saying, I hear some boos. Let's see, who are they for? Suggesting they might be for Zab Judah. Very interesting statistic as we look round by round. According to show stats, how many punches were landed. And what it demonstrates is just a clear example of Paulie controlling, for the most part, every round. Now, some of those a little bit closer, but when you dominate rounds like that, in terms of the numbers of punches landed, even if somebody wants to dispute what was landed and what wasn't, you can see that it's a big difference. And Paulie's thrown over 100 more punches.
Come on, man, you gotta fight that. Don't get him.
Wow, interesting body language in that corner. Zab Judah's father, Yoel, yelling at him. And it's like Zab's not interested. He's not even paying attention.
He doesn't seem interested. I mean, I think his father knows what he's got in him. I mean, he's trained him, so he knows what Zab's made out of. And he thinks he's got a lot left in him to put on, you know, to go out there and start hurting Malignaggi.
Well, there's a good combination, maybe the best combination of the fight for him, as we are into the championship rounds here in the 11th.
finally a straight left hand from Zab, who has not thrown that punch very much.
You know, and this is boxing. I mean, some fighters need telling off in the corner, you know, to go out there and start, you know, working and start, you know, exchanging a little bit.
What about you, Amir? What do you prefer? Do you prefer a loud, boisterous corner or a peaceful, calm one?
No, I like a loud one. Yeah, I like a loud one.
Both men have been 12 rounds a number of times. Paulie is 4-3 in 12 rounders, and Zab Judah is 5-4. Together, they've fought 18 current or former world champions, so they've been in collectively with the best of this era, including the gentleman sitting to my left. And not you, Marl. It was Amir Khan.
Yeah, dare I say, would not survive a second. A minute 50 left in the 11th round. The fans here in Brooklyn beginning to get restless. They wanted to see the battle in the Battle of Brooklyn, and thus far it's been mainly one-way traffic. Paulie Malignaggi dictating the pace. Outboxing, outfoxing, outquicking Zab Judah.
You know, he's standing right in the wheelhouse, Paulie Malignaggi, so it's not as if he, of course, he's a very good defensive fighter even when he's not moving, but he's in the wheelhouse of Zab Judah, so he's there for Judah to at least try some punches, but Zab has not been able to do it, has not been able to get untracked in this fight.
A stiff jab followed by a right hand to the body by Malignaggi.
A lot of head movement by Malignaggi, always has been, and the feinting, all the nuances that he has used to become a world champion. 4 hand surgeries on his right hand, which has certainly hurt him, but here he is, showing us the guile and ability that he's shown in so many other fights.
Well, true student of the game, and one of the reasons he's quickly emerged as one of the better analysts in the sport, but really putting on a clinic here against Zab Judah in round 11. There's the right hand. But Judah Amir just not willing to engage.
And that's part of the story, you have to say. Yeah. Zab has not been active in this fight.
No, Zab's not even, you know, doesn't seem interested. I mean, he's
sporadic.
Yeah, his work rate's dropped tremendously. He's hardly throwing any shots back. Doesn't seem interested, like he wants to be there.
Good combination to the body by Malignaggi. Final seconds of the 11th round. Judah along the ropes. We're going to the 12th and final round in this, the Battle of Brooklyn. Danny Garcia, undefeated 140-pound champion. There's talk he may be in the Floyd Mayweather sweepstakes if he elects to go up 7 pounds.
A varied attack by Paulie Malignaggi. He will use his jab, which of course we know is a very good punch for him, and then go to the body. And these are the 2 staples now of his attack. This is what he does now. You know, he'll use the jab, and then right away, here's that right hand downstairs. And it's so quick that he lands him. This is a lot.
Beautiful.
The only part of that he couldn't make work against Broner was the jab to the head. And the old Judah trying to motivate his son.
We are down to the final 3 minutes, the 12th and final round. Bensonhurst, Paulie Malignaggi, Brownsville, Zab Judah. Who wants to be the king of Brooklyn? And Judah now with the combination to begin the round, getting a little more active, attacking the body from the clinch.
45 seconds of that minute in the corner, you know, Judah chose to stand up and stay stood up. He probably must have sat down for like 10 seconds. I don't know if he's frustrated with the fight.
Well, at age 36, Zab has been through a lot. I mentioned he's fought 307 rounds, although Paulie has fought 300. And Zab just has been through a lot in his career, and perhaps he's just hitting the wall. It's possible. This has certainly not been as spirited a performance as he would like.
But conversely, what more could you ask for from Paulie Malignaggi tonight? A clinic with the jab and using everything in his arsenal. Not known as a power puncher, but when it comes to the sweet science, a high ring IQ.
and a volume puncher these days, and a fighter who's not moving as much these days. And so he's been in some very good fights. His fight with Pablo Cano was terrific. His fight with Broner was fascinating. And here, it's half of a good fight.
And not to make excuses for our colleague, and we mentioned it before, but I think some people forget that Malignaggi, very early in his career, his third fight is where he broke his right hand for the first time, and subsequently has had 4 hand surgeries. That's going to change the way you fight.
Well, definitely. You know, he's more of a boxer now, he is. You see Malignaggi boxes more. I mean, every shot he threw. I mean, when we speak to Judah at the fighters meeting, he said, a guy with 7 knockouts can't hurt me. I'm going to walk right through to him.
Well, he might not hurt him, but he's outboxing him.
Well, he's outboxing him, exactly.
Yeah, and Judah just hasn't been aggressive like he said he was going to be.
So, after 11 rounds, here's how our Showtime crew sees the fight.
A huge margin on all our scorecards for Paulie Malignaggi, just slightly less on Steve's, but Amir and I both have him ahead by 8 points, and I'm imagining that's something of what the judges have. I'm thinking. But, of course, we've seen odd decisions before.
Final 45 seconds of action here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn in a fight, well, people wondered when it would take place. It has taken place here tonight with 36-year-old Zab Judah, 33-year-old Paulie Malignaggi, representing their neighborhoods in the borough of Brooklyn. And it looks like we are headed to the judges' scorecards to determine who will be the king of the BK. A terrific performance for Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi. Conversely, not the kind of performance that was expected from Super Zab Judah. Wow. There wasn't any trash talking leading up to the fight, but there seems to be a little extra going on here at the end of the fight. Judah showing aggression afterwards. And we've seen this before from Zab.
Well, some rough action at the end of that round. Listen in.
So again, it goes without saying, Paulie Malignaggi is our colleague. But, you know, when it comes to scoring the fight, Al, and, you know, you guys were all professionals. Let's take a look at the show stats now. But
we take a look at the numbers, and clearly the volume of Malignaggi was part of the story, and the fact that he was obviously just more accurate. At the end of the round, this is where things got awkward, and it was some roughhousing, I think, on the part of Zab Judah that got Paulie Malignaggi a little bit perturbed. Well, and of course, Paulie kind of egged him on a little bit there, but once they got into this position, the tempers were frayed a little bit. And now some aggression from Zab Judah, which was missing earlier. But that's too bad, because for the most part, it has been a respectful lead into this fight. But a lot of passion there. By the way, a subdued hairdo by Paulie, less than he usually has in terms of color.
Still to come, an encore episode of the premiere of All Access, Broner, Maidana. That fight coming your way a week from tonight from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Adrian Broner defending the title here, Malignaggi and Judah. All right, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. to make it official.
We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Michael Pernick scores about 116 to 111. Judges Max DeLuca and Adelaide Bird both scored about 117 to 110. All three in favor of the winner by unanimous decision. From Bensonhurst in Brooklyn, Paulie, the Magic Man Malignaggi.
Malignaggi picks up his 33rd career victory, and he emerges as the Baron of Brooklyn Boxing as he wins the Battle of Brooklyn via a commanding unanimous decision.
And a tough night for Zab Judah, obviously, but for Paulie, a very, very, I think, gratifying win for him. The Broner fight, in which he fought well but lost a very close decision, stuck in his craw. And I think he feels good about getting back in the ring and showing those abilities again.
Thank you very much. Paulie, congratulations. How gratified are you to win this fight?
You know, it was a lot of pressure, man, you know. I've been in a lot of big fights, but, you know, you don't want to lose at home to another hometown fighter, man. I mean, these kind of fights rarely happen when you have two world-class guys from the same vicinity, same geography. You know, and usually when that happens, we fight each other on the way up, not after we've already achieved world-class stardom, you know. So this was a fight with world-class implications, but at the same time, it was a local rivalry. So it was a lot of pressure, man. I'm glad I was able to get the W because Zab's a tough customer.
Did you feel coming into this fight that you were going to be the busier and faster fighter?
I felt I had to be. I knew Zab had the punching advantage. I knew he was a bigger puncher, but I felt like if we backed him up, he doesn't fight very well going backwards, you know. So I kept trying to back him up the whole fight as much as I could, including the last round. I knew in the last round he was going to need a knockout to win. And I said, if I let him get that forward momentum, he could get lucky. So let me try to keep backing him up even in the last round. We were really sharp in camp. We had great sparring partners, Cleotis Pendarvis, William Shamar Witt. We worked with Luis Collazo, Angel Garcia, not the trainer, a young prospect from New York. You know, we had great work. My timing was real sharp, you know. So I knew even if I held my ground, I could get him to back up with my counter shots.
Paulie, we all know you're an emotional guy. How were you able to manage to regroup after the controversial knockdown, which was ruled a knockdown in the second round?
That knockdown was bullshit, man. I tripped over his leg. He did clip me. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but he didn't clip me with a shot that hurt me. It kind of grazed my mouth, and I was trying to spin. You know, sometimes on lefties, we try to make this move where we kind of try to spin on the outside. But if your foot is on the inside, when you make the spin move, you're going to trip over the other guy's foot, and that's what happened. As I made the spin move,
all right, let's take a look at it. Tell me how you were able to regroup, though, because you're clearly aggravated and upset.
I wasn't even
upset by it.
Of course, because I felt like I might lose the momentum. See, the shot kind of grazed me, hit me on the side. You see, you don't see the legs there, but I'm trying to spin around, and I kind of clipped his front foot. It happens a lot with lefties and righties, but you know, I even warned the referee. I warned Mike in the locker room. I said, yo, just it's lefty righty. Watch the leg trips. You know why? We're gonna trip up on each other. Just be careful with that. What happens in round two? What I was scared of happening happened, but you know, luckily I was able to regroup. You know, Zab's a world-class operator, man. You know, I knew I couldn't take him lightly, and once he took, I was worried about him taking back the momentum in round two after I had a good round one. So I had to kind of regroup myself mentally and kind of get back on the horse, so to speak.
And to fight against a guy who coached you, and you have clearly stated throughout this whole promotion that you really liked. You know, is that a difficult prospect? You're both in your backyard. Half the fans for Zab, half the fans for you.
It is because, you know, he's a guy who, you know, I looked up to coming up. He was a guy who, you know, had done so much before I accomplished anything. So in the gyms, in the local New York scene, I really looked up to him, you know. Honestly, I didn't even think I was going to fight anymore. I got a call from Sam Watson and Team Heyman, you know, and they offered me this fight and said, win this fight, and you're going to get big things, Paulie. And
what does that mean?
I was really shocked.
Tell me what that means.
I don't know what that means. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'll tell you what, all Al Heyman fighters get the big fights. So I was ecstatic because I didn't think I was fighting again. I had it. After that Broner controversial decision, I had it. I had gained weight. I wasn't training. I didn't care. I got a call from Sam, and Sam changed everything. He said, you know what? I'm back in the car. I'm back on the horse. I'm riding back off, and I'm looking for these big fights. So thank you to Al Heyman, Sam Watson, and to all Team Heyman.
All right, Paulie, you made up for all the time you were not able to talk tonight. Congratulations to you, and I guess most importantly, you're going to be able to go to the barbershop, huh?
Yes, I'm going to be able to go to the barbershop, and I want Brooklyn to stand up right now, man. I felt like this was a unified Brooklyn. This is a local rivalry. Both neighborhoods were in a civil war, but me and Zab, we show a sport can unite everything, man, and I'm serious. I'm not just saying that because it's a sport. It's a sport. It's more than that. It unifies us. Me and Zab represent Brooklyn for the past decade. We synonymous with Brooklyn boxing for the past decade. I looked up to this guy, and he was one of the guys that I looked up to on the way up that pushed me to work hard.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Zab, I know there's considerable disappointment. How would you assess your performance here tonight?
You know, it was a little different than I thought it was, you know what I'm saying? I knew I had to go get him, but you know, it was different than I thought it was. He didn't really want to engage in a fight, you know what I mean? I wanted to fight more, and you know, Paulie kept it boxing. He kept it boxing, stayed on the outside, and just kept working his jab and sliding around.
It seemed like you weren't able to get that left hand in there and to get it established. How come?
I don't know, man. You know, so I mean, Paulie did a good job of staying on the outside. I mean, you can't take no credit away from him. He used his speed and stayed away, you know what I mean?
This is a tough question, and I don't mean it to be derogatory, but Amir and Al Bernstein and Steve Farhood said that they looked in your eye a bit disinterested tonight. Would you say that's true?
Disinterested? No, I don't think so. I was very interested in the fight. I trained very hard for the fight. I was very motivated for the situation, and I was coming here to stand up for Brooklyn.
Did you feel as though after the great performance that you had against Danny Garcia that would carry over?
Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? I trained very hard for this, like I said, and I came in here with all expectations of winning the fight and doing my best. And you know, Paulie did a good job of staying outside and just boxing and just, you know, using his lateral movement. You know, my dad and my uncle told me go get him, but you know, people could tell you what to do, but you know, it just wasn't there.
This is a guy you like, and it's because he's from the same area. You coached him. Does it make it harder because it is a guy you like, or is it easier to accept?
No, I mean, it's a fight match, you know what I'm saying? Once we got in the ring, I didn't see Paulie, my friend. I seen an opponent across the ring that was trying to dethrone me and my family. And, you know, I just had to step it up, you know what I'm saying, and just go in there and take it as a fight. That's it.
Zab, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. now with a special presentation. Jimmy?
Ladies and gentlemen, in the ring, we have Barclays Center CEO Brett Yormark to present the first ever Brooklyn's World Championship welterweight division belt to Bensonhurst's Paulie Malignaggi.
Where's that belt? Right here.
So Paulie, the Magic Man, Malignaggi, a champion at 140, a champion at 147, and now the Brooklyn champion.
Yeah, two things about this. One is, as we take a look at the final scores, and we will see what the judges had to say and what we had to say. Judges with a good hefty margin for Paulie Malignaggi, just a 1-point difference on those 3 cards. And then in our unofficial scoring, we all agreed that there was a big win for Paulie Malignaggi, with Steve Farhood having it slightly closer. And two things about this fight. One, Paulie Malignaggi was able to perform very effectively and get the job done. And number two, I thought his closing statements about the two neighborhoods were nothing short of eloquent.
Yeah, then just what you said, you know, Paulie put a great performance on, he just boxed